Hello again, my friends. How are you doing? Kick your feet up. Relax. Take it easy. Have to forgive the cancer-mobiles going by every so often. It's crazy. I was thinking this before I started. We have to be one of the few species that actively poisons its own environment. But anyway. Just a side tangent. So I wanted to talk a bit about mastery today. Whether it's mastering well, I've realised something, that mastering a skill, the 10,000 hours is not so much to master the skill as it is to master yourself. Only a small part of it is about actual skill. And that's the thing you realise with art, if you do it long enough, and or sort of dedicated enough to the learning process. It's interesting as well how a lot of countries are now realising that technology has made people stupid. Studying with technology makes you stupid. Which is no real surprise, because most of what I know has been acquired through books. That's why it sticks. At some point I should go through a book list of sort of either philosophical or psychological, different things that will actually help towards the sort of mastery process, because the biggest thing I realise, is like, whilst I may not be particularly adept at certain things, I have inevitably mastered myself in a lot of ways. Like, whilst I'm by no means perfect, I still swear like a drunken sailor, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just language. It's not meant in an offensive way. I mean, well, depends on who you talk to, but But yeah, there's a point of self-doubt where you get over it. Somewhere along the lines, like, so much information just sort of changes you. Changes the way you think, the way you approach things, It's much like I was explaining to a friend about the videos and why I've started to sort of do the more random locations and sort of random natural videos. And it's like, well, I want to create something that will last more than just 6 months or a year. Like, I see a lot of content and it's for the now, it's for the here and now. It's not designed to last. And I'm not saying this is, like, I can but aspire, But it's one thing I've never been particularly good at, is classical education. But, I've sort of mitigated that process by reading and reading and reading. And, like, never having a role model, I think, is really important. So many people see it as a disadvantage, whereas I've always seen it as a shifting thing, like, role models change as you mature and as you grow. I don't think you should have, say, like, fixed people that you, not so much that you look up to, but like I say, with role models where you revere. And, I see a lot of people or a lot of artists, they'll stick to certain masters, not realizing they could progress further if they just open their mind to the possibility of others, And that's the thing with mastery. There is no one size fits all. There is no growth hack. There is no quick fix. It depends on your starting point. Depends on your goals. Depends on what you're trying to achieve. Which, well, yeah, I suppose is goals, but not necessarily. It's like, but I heard something very poignant where it said, if you have purpose and you know your direction, you are already more wealthy than someone that is a billionaire, because a lot of the times they're lost, they're stuck, they're great at what they do, but it's that we're all limited in our own ways. And that's the sort of bridge that education gives you, because it allows your mind to process. I think people look at their minds as very much like binary, like input output. I put stuff in and it gets a certain output, and it's like, not necessarily. Two people can watch the same film and both will come away with different perspectives of what happened. Why? Well, memory. It's all dependent on where you are, what you started on, and your memories. This is why I say where books are the bridge that fills in the gaps, because, well, it's like some of the people I know, they're extremely street smart and, they're great in parties, they're great in certain situations, but they just don't have, like, an ability to, I don't know. It just, if your memory is only built off of, like, situational things, you're reactive. Whereas, sort of, reading gives you the ability to be proactive, I suppose. Because reading gives you different memories. It gives you different perspectives of different people and different memories and different, like... This is why I say, like, with role models, this is where you should always aspire to great minds, because, well, they know something. They know something that most people miss, which is we all have the potential to be great. It's just what you do with it. And the way you think. And this is why I say, is I know, like, there's people that are very, very, very good in certain situations, but those situations don't actually translate into the real world. And I'm not saying all books do. Like, a lot of the books I've read are whimsical, fantasy, myths, ancient history, secret text. It's like, but it's why I am the way I am. It's why my art is the way it is. It's why I'm able to be so fluid, because, be like water. And you'll notice it if you hang around long enough, because a lot of the things I say aren't necessarily my own opinion. think that's the thing that irritates a lot of people when I talk, because I use parables or quotes from people that are great. They have achieved greatness. They have achieved mastery of themselves or a specific yeah. Philosophy. It's a diverse and interesting subject, but all paths lead to the same destination. Don't know who said that, but I would sound a lot smarter if I could use the references for the quotes I speak about, but a lot of the time it's like, well, I'm just trying to explain to a friend years ago about Confucius and how a lot of the way that I teach is based on the way Confucius taught. And they asked what book it was that I read, and I was like, one or two, maybe a different one. Like, there's so many books that you can read that are timeless. Like, well, I say that to some degree, timeless. You can learn a lot about class. The ability to read and write poetry, the ability to study and or work with your hands or work with your mind. It's so many different facets, and this is the beauty of having lots of different role models, because you have lots of different information to pull from. Whereas if you are rigid, it's like Nikola Tesla, brilliant, but he was also flawed. You know what I mean? It's like if you aspire to flawed individuals, you will always become slightly flawed in virtue. There's nothing wrong with that, we all have our quirks and or nuances, but yeah. Think and Grow Rich is probably the better one, because you see literally how the mind affects your reality. So whether you choose to believe a certain thing and you reinforce it because those things happen. And there's other people that will think entirely different and have entirely different results, which, shocker. But it's only when you see the sort of comparisons with mindset and mastery that you start to go, oh, actually, there's something more there. I think Confucius is probably a good one to learn about sort of class and or class systems. Sorry, I know I'm a bit scatty, but it's a bit of a scatty subject. But there's a lot of the reason with art why I've just started having fun again and just playing around, because it's like there's a degree of mastery in the play. Like, making serious pieces and making these sort of thoughtful pieces is great if you have the information to make it interesting. Otherwise, like I say, it's just thoughtful, it's interesting, it's cool, it's, unique. But then, like I say, there's a certain degree of mastery where it's almost like you flip the script. It's like you spend years trying to become a master only to then regress. And I don't mean regress in the literal sense. It's like at a certain level of understanding, you just stop caring. It is what it is like the good, the bad, the ugly. It's all part of the journey, and yeah. Life becomes a lot less serious. Because whilst, yes, the, acquisition of wealth in the classical sense, is great, a lot of people aren't able to be alone. They're not able to sit with their own thoughts. They're not able to direct their own thoughts to anything, really. Like, short term, yes. But when it comes to, like, the notion of self-improvement, it's like, reading seems tedious. Reading seems not redundant, but, like, boring, I suppose. I don't have these issues because, like I say, I value the time spent on yourself, but I can understand why a lot of people don't. But then it's only yourself that you're leaving behind, like, for all the acquisition of wealth, what's it for? Is it just to have it? Is it to be the best? Is it to be, And in a lot of occasions, it's just to have. It's this notion of legacy, like, in 150 years, anyone's going to care. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, money. Don't get me wrong, it's great. It's a great tool. It's a needs and means to an end, but in the mastery of self, there is something far more rewarding. I don't know. I was explaining it to a friend. I was like, it's very difficult to relate or speak to people around me because they're only interested in wealth. Like, what are you doing to make money? How are you making money? What job are you doing? And whilst, you've got to strive to be more and achieve more and have more, it's like, for what? You know? But as I said to a friend, it's very difficult to relate because in the traditional world, your pride and your sort of confidence is based on wealth, the acquisition of money. And I think that's, like, for me, that's been especially difficult to deal with because who cares? So you've mastered yourself and you've become a better person. But for what? It's like anything in life. You have to create your own purpose. And or know that you're doing something for a higher purpose. And I see a lot of artists struggle with that because art is not necessarily held in that high of a regard in the working class, but meh. I think happiness shines through in a lot of situations, and you can have all the money in the world and still be fundamentally miserable, which is why I say, what's it for at that point? And to have nothing and be content is so alien to so many people. Yeah, it's like I say, it's a point of mastery where everything becomes kind of paradoxical, because there's like the innate ambition and ego wants to achieve more, wants to do more, but at the same time, if this is what where I'm supposed to be and how it's supposed to be, why fight it? Like, is it Kafka? No. Maybe Nietzsche. Yeah. There's a few, like I say. But yeah, your purpose is to find your purpose, I suppose. What drives you? And that's the thing you'll never truly be able to express to someone is passion. Because as much as you care and as much as you may want to show that you care, passion and happiness is not a tangible thing. It's not something you can share, Well, I mean, you can, but it's, what I mean, it's relative. And a lot of people only respect money and the acquisition of money, which, hey, I don't know. Each to their own. This is where you've got, like, as I mentioned, all paths lead to the same destination. So, some people spend their whole lives chasing their tail and never figure it out. Other people will hit the wall and then figure it out. It's like, yeah. Humanity. The joys of being human. Nothing's ever quite as straightforward or as simple. But hey, that's the beauty of it. Figuring it out. Figuring out what makes it right for you, what drives you, like what gets under your skin and makes you want to keep doing it. Like, because you see a lot of people never find it because they're too scared of giving up what they have or looking like a fool or, failing. And it's like, if you enjoy something, there is no failure. There is only lessons. Like, it really is true. It's just, yeah. It's whether or not you can let go of your ego long enough to do, Like I say with me and art. If you had said to me when I was 15 I'd be making art and making content, I would have laughed in your face. Like, no chance. No hope. But as I say, when you find your thing, it just kind of clicks. You're like, oh yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Ah, haha. How do I get good at it? How do I improve? And that's why, in a lot of ways, this is what drives me, is that sort of what if. Because I don't know. What is my potential? I don't know. I've seen what I can do with illustrative stuff, but with painting, it's like, I don't know. How far could it go? What could I do? How much could I create? What is the end goal? It's like, I don't know. That's the beauty of it. It's the figuring out your own potential. I suppose. That's yeah, mastery. It's not a linear thing. There's a lot of the reason I've been sharing some of the stories from my life, because it's like, it's entertaining. I have to, I've been a fucking asshole. I will not dispute that, But I've also learned a lot, and I've changed in inexorable ways over the last 20 years, I suppose. More 10, but phases, life. Some people live a very linear life, Mine has been anything but. And I love it. I love it for that, but at the same time, it's hard to piece together and make sense of, or, tell stories, because so much of it is just so mixed up, because, time. It's a strange old bean. Sneaks up on you fast. I suppose I should do a bit of an update with Project Zero. It's still ongoing. Like, waiting or awaiting the confirmation of sales. I don't know. Don't know how to quite define it, really. It's like selling art. It's an art in itself, and I'm old school. Nothing's happening until it's happening, until there's an actual handshake deal and I have money in my account. It's like, I don't know. And even then, I don't know. Whilst the inevitable goal with Project Zero is to create ways to generate income, it's like, there's a lot of things that, a lot of details that, don't really want to talk about it. I just want to be getting on with it, and this is why I say at the moment I've got to focus on selling art, because it's the easiest and or sort of most direct route of getting from point A to point B, as far as I can see. Whilst I know it will happen, it's the in-between that's always the hardest. It's like knowing where you want to be and where you should be, or where you deserve to be, and actually doing, like, and whilst I'm working on different things, I'm working on myself. It's like I say, incremental progress doesn't necessarily look like progress all of the time. It's the painful thing with it, really. It's like, yep, little by little I'm getting there. It's just, crikey. Not always the most exciting and or entertaining process, because, bit by bit, Go look at Truett. Although, even that, arguably, at least you can see progress. That's the difficult thing at the moment, is like, at least with making art, you can see it that I'm progressing. At least with painting and like working on projects, it's like there's visual stuff. It's tangible, you know. Whereas, yeah, seems like, was it 5 months into this year? It's nearly my fucking birthday, man. Like, that's what I mean with time. It sneaks up on you, and it's like, oh crap, getting asked silly questions, and you're like, I want to work on this. I'm too focused on the project to actually think about myself, which is not really a surprise in the grand scheme of things, but as someone wise always used to say to me, you got to put the cart before the horse. You know, you got to get the money first, and then worry about what what if. But yeah, I think that's the thing at the moment. It's be nice to see something coming in. I think it would be that's the summation of it. Is like, whilst I'm all up for achieving big goals, and it would be nice to at least get some traction so that I'm at least making something, because worked out the other day is like, I owe my friend about 150 grand, and if I want to do my PhD is about another 100 grand. So it was like, plus the 30 grand I'm already in debt to the student loan people. This is kind of ridiculous that in 10 years I've accrued nearly £250,000 worth of debt, which on paper I don't owe technically, but you know what I mean. It's, yeah. Rent, life, living, food, electric, pick a thing. There's so much of it where it's like, yeah, 150 grand would be fairly reasonable. Still massively under what I probably owe them, but you know what I mean? It's like, fucking. It's only when you start putting things onto paper and you're like, because that's the thing, I'll be real. Memento Mori was initially supposed to be 150 grand. Something reasonable and or the right price for collectors to potentially want to buy, you know, disposable income for the kind of people that buy art, you know. But yeah, when you start doing the maths, it's like, ooh, so if I need 6 million for projects, I need what, £250,000 for just to get some silly bits of paper that I don't really need, just so I can call myself Dr. Lukey. It's like, it's such a stupid thing. Could just do it, but you know, technicalities. I like to at least know that I can back it up with some paperwork, paper trail, you know, checks and balances. But a lot of that can't be written off technically. This is the other thing with Project Zero, is like, a lot of what I do and a lot of the work that I've created over the last several years has all been at my own cost. Whereas what I should have been doing is running a business and saving everything and then charging it. But, you know, like, being a fucking business, doing things normally. This is why I say there's a lot of things that are on my list that could be very easily written off because, well, yeah, need it for business. It's a business expense, technically. Self-development, I'd have to look that one up, but yeah, computers, scanners, tech, employees. There's a lot that I need to get sorted. But like I say, I'm figuring it out bit by bit, day by day. So you like what I'm doing, make sure to like and subscribe. How long have I been chatting for? Yeah, I'm nearly 40 minutes of staring at a tree. Well, as you can see by that, you're technically staring at a window. This is my view. This is what I get to look at. It's either a brick wall or a tree, and hey, tree is a lot more enjoyable. Oh, plus it saves me having to walk several miles to take you guys out into somewhere that's beautiful, you know. What's more beautiful than watching a tree in the wind? I mean... At least in my head. If you want any books, Sacred Key Society on YouTube has a bunch of audiobooks. Grimm will recommend a bunch of books. I should have a book list at some point. I should put one up on my website somewhere. Because, my God, there's been a lot. And a lot are not necessarily what you would think. Like, some of them aren't even philosophy or psychology as such. It's more spirituality. Yeah, it's not the same thing, is it? But anyway, if you made it this far through the video, like the video, because you should. I mean, I will climb through the screen and rattle your world. Don't make me... There you go. Break the illusion. And as always, follow me on social medias. Buy some art. Second Alfy book is coming. I don't know exactly when, but it's coming. I will let you know when it drops. The build-up is real. Like several months at this point. Yeah. Fucking publishers, man. Hey, joys of not being popular. That's what that is. It's on me for not doing a better job with social media shit, basically. Marketing. Ugh. The age-old ick with artists. But yeah, if you made it this far, subscribe, like, all that usual jazz. Links will be in the description below, and I will be back next week. I will attempt to try and find something a bit more interesting for you to look at. And, well, attempt to give you some more insight and or attempt to teach you something. I don't know. See how it goes. As always, stay awesome, be positive, and I'll be back. Peace out, my lovers.